So I wanted to talk about baking as part of your meal planning. So in all of your meal plans, I would have suggested some muffins to bake or some breads. So in my baby and family book, I have a lot of muffins in there, which I think are really good as a finger food. And also in my lunchbox, Made Easy book, I have lots of breads and muffins in there. I love baking muffins because I feel like you can have the savoury, you can have the sweet. They freeze really well, and I'll go through that. But generally, the best part is that if you have a fussy eater, you can get vegetables in. So I'm going to make my broccoli and cheese muffins. So what's in there is cheese, obviously. So I have my flour in here first. Just going to add my cheese and tomatoes. Now you can chop your tomatoes up a little finer if you wish, but generally, they will be baked, so they will be nice and soft when they're cooked. Then I've just kind of cooked my broccoli here for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to chop it up and add it that way. So probably every week I would do a certain amount of muffins. I find, when you're baking a cake or something, you have to be really exact. With muffins, it's a little bit more forgiving, which really helps me, because I just literally bung it all in. Don't have to be sieving flour or anything like that. And I actually think they're really good for lunch boxes. So what I do is I would put them all into Ziploc bags, take them out maybe the night before or the morning of if I've forgotten, and defrost in the microwave and heat through. So in it goes in there. Then I'm going to add some milk and egg as well, and oil. As easy as that. So again, if you have the fussy little toddler and he's around, ask him or her to help you to make the muffins, more likely to eat it. So an egg. Just going to whisk that there. That to it. And then some milk. So it is 180 of milk, and then 3 tablespoons of oil. There we go, and mix all that together. What I like, when I make muffins, I always use a silicone baking sheets, because I feel they're, first of all, like, you don't have to grease them, you don't have to put paper cups in them, and they come out really easy. So I would advise you purchase these. Now it is sometimes, if it's particularly liquid, you have to hold it really straight, but they are the best. I don't use tin ones anymore. This is a really small one for the little babies, which is great as well. Little cupcakes as well are nice in there. So mix all that together and add to your, so you can fill up it's not going to rise very much, so just fill it up to the top. So if I was to fill this one here, it'd be like this. And then into the oven then for 25 to 35 minutes at 180. The recipe is in my baby and family book on page 145. So have a look there, but here are some I made earlier. Move all these. So this is them here. Really lovely size. The really small ones are really nice size for a baby, for a finger food. So don't worry about, the texture is perfect, so that what they'll do is they'll bring it up to their mouth and they will bite it off. There's nothing hard in there, it's all soft, so obviously you still have your safety test, which is between your thumb and your finger, and you're squeezing it, and there's no lumps in there, so that's perfect. So it's a really lovely quick lunch for your child that you have either taken out of the freezer or it's in the fridge. I would add a dip to this as well, so this is your dipper. A dip like hummus or pesto or tomato sauce, and you get the child to dip it in and eat it. So a really nice alternative to a dinner. If you're out and about, it's a really nice option as well. You don't have to keep it warm. But generally all around, muffins are a good idea. You can obviously make sweet or savoury. I have another one which is berry and banana, and that's kind of the one that I use for my kids. They're not so mad on the savoury anymore, they like sandwiches and stuff like that. But if your child isn't a fan of sandwiches and would prefer a muffin, this is a really good option as well. So quickly go through how you safely prepare the muffins. So obviously you prepare them and let them cool down. On a rack is the best way to let muffins cool down. And then once they're cold, at room temperature, you can either put them in your pots. The smaller ones are really good in your larger Mummy Cooks pots, or you can put in a Ziploc bag and label the Ziploc bag. Now we have to put it into the fridge because it does need to be cold before it goes into the freezer. So into the fridge for half an hour, and then we can transfer it to the freezer. When it's in the freezer, then it lasts between 3 to 4 months. And each time you want to take a muffin out, you just take it out of the bag. You don't have to take the whole bag out. So you take it out. If you've remembered the night before, best way to defrost is in the fridge overnight. However, it does need to be heated through before you eat it. It doesn't need to be warm when you eat it, but it does need to be heated through, just like every other food. So if I was to offer this to my baby or a toddler for lunch, and I've defrosted it already, I'll just heat it through so that it's piping hot, and then you can just let it cool down for your child. Similarly, to put it into the lunch box, I would have it defrosted, heat it through, and then put it into just a pot and let it cool down by the time they eat it. So that's how you safely prepare baked goods. It's exactly the same as if you prepare purees or dinners. So don't forget that. So muffins are, and I would always say this is most things, everything really is freezable. It's how it comes out at the other end that you know determines if you're going to put it in the freezer or not. And muffins stay exactly the same, which is great. In terms of having them in the fridge, you have 3 days. So if I cook them today, I have tomorrow and the next day before I have to eat them. It's because the food is cooked inside it that you'd have to keep it. You'd also have to keep these in the fridge as well. But yeah, that's kind of the whole idea of baking. You may not be a baker, you don't have to be. I'm not a baker, but I definitely involve it in my meal planning. And as we said, like, we have our meal plans up on, if you sign up to our club, you're going to get them. And what I'm suggesting is that you do a number of batch cooks at the weekend, and you also do maybe some baking. And this does include baby, so what you will be doing is you'll be cooking family food and adapting it for baby. With the muffins, you can still go with the larger size and just cut it in half. I would probably offer you know, to a smaller baby, it in the palm of their hand like that, so probably half, but then to an older baby that's able to pick up, probably a quarter of that, and then they're lifting it up, and one per meal. Then yeah, so make sure you have downloaded our guides. All of the recipes are available on our website or in the 2 books, but it will help you kind of you know, getting track in January, involving the baby or involving the children in all of your meal planning. So I hope that helped. Recipe is the broccoli and cheese muffins.